What's going on, FA Nation? Justin Fensterman back with you with another episode of ADP TV, trying to get a lot done, including my workout. And this is not a barbell, it's a 4-foot tall trophy. You can win one of these if you win your leagues in 2020. Nothing's stopping you. The family is always with you. Let me put this ridiculously large trophy down so we can talk about some players that are trending up and down when it comes to average draft position. Talk about three players whose ADPs are trending upward, and let's start with Tarik Cohen. With David Montgomery now dealing with a strained groin, you have to look at Cohen. Could the Bears sign another running back, maybe a Devonta Freeman? Possibly, but Cohen is there, so naturally he is going to start to see his ADP move up a little bit. Currently up 3 spots at 108.35, and at that number I've seen him go a little bit earlier than that, but the fact that on our average draft position chart that he's still there at 108, that just shows right there that he has some extreme value in that 9th, 10th round area, and you can get him. We saw this guy targeted a ton, over 100 times. He has 9 career receiving touchdowns for the Bears. Not as active in the run game, but in the passing game, and especially on the Bears that don't have too many options. Allen Robinson, Anthony Miller, Jimmy Graham, not much after that. An injured David Montgomery. Cohen could be getting a few more targets early, and if you're looking for a running back for depth purposes, Tarik Cohen will be there when you're looking in the 9th, 10th round. Might move up to starter's price depending on the severity of Montgomery's injury, but strained groin, we'll have to see what that means for him over the next few weeks leading up to the start of the season. But for Tarik Cohen, he's going to start to move up a little bit more. You're drafting over the next few days, you're going to want to grab Tarik Cohen for depth purposes. Next up, sitting there at 172.64 is Patriots running back Damien Harris. 13 spots up. That's right, 13 spots up from July. And a lot of it was just post-Sony Michel news that he was probably not going to be ready for the start of the season. Now we're starting to see reports that he could be ready for the start of the season, which puts us in an interesting spot because remember, Rex Burkhead is there. We have to wait and see what Lamar Miller's role is going to be in this offense as well. You've got James White too. So you separate James White and you have Sony Michel who's banged up but could still make it back week 1. You've got Damien Harris, you've got Rex Burkhead, you've got Lamar Miller. Too much confusion. It seems like because of the raving reviews that he's getting out of camp, because Damien Harris can do everything, that he's going to be able to pick up some early touches. That may be, but that is not confirmed. And especially with the latest Sony Michel news that he could actually make it active for week 1, that right there puts Damien Harris's draft position in a very confusing state. I think it's going to stop and plateau at this point. So we will have to see as the next few weeks continue about the health of this Patriots run game, because if Michel can't make it for week 1, that's where Damien Harris can make a bit more of an impact. But according to reports from camp, he could do it all, and that bodes well for the future and his involvement in this offense. Finally, stock up DeSean Jackson at 165 spots up since July. And the reason is because when you're looking at the Eagles at this point, yes, DeSean Jackson only played in a few games last season, but look at the Eagles receiving core. We don't know what to make of Alshon Jeffrey's health at this point. Marquise Goodwin, he opted out. So at this point, you're looking at Jalen Reagor, inexperienced, and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and Greg Ward, who have a little bit more experience, but Arcega-Whiteside had his own health issues last year as well. DeSean Jackson is there. He's going to be relied on as that veteran presence. Over 17 yards per catch throughout his career. And this guy could end up being that second option behind Zach Ertz when it comes to targets. Okay, you love Reagor, then he could be the third option. Ertz, Reagor, and then DeSean Jackson. You only have to spend essentially $1 or $2 to get him. You could get him towards the end of your drafts. Why not? There are not that many options when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, and DeSean Jackson is still there for that reason. Again, I know he's coming off of a banged up season, but when you're looking at the Eagles situation right now, you got to rely on those veterans. And when DeSean Jackson is on the field, he has proven that he can produce. That is $1 or $2 worth spending in your auctions. Up 5 spots since July for good reason. Let's talk about some players that are trending down when it comes to fantasy football average draft position. Let's start with Jamaal Williams. I know I have been crushing the Packers, but I don't want you guys making a mistake in overdrafting Aaron Jones or investing fully into this run game because we don't know how the carries will be divided between Aaron Jones, Jamaal Williams, and A.J. Dillon. Williams has dropped 4 spots since July, and it makes perfect sense. He's still sitting there at 186, so you could get him towards the end of your draft. But why would the Packers in the second round draft A.J. Dillon if they were satisfied with their current run game? And I know Aaron Jones is in a contract year. Jamaal Williams still there, so they're clearly not that happy or pleased with both of them. Adding A.J. Dillon could vulture touchdowns from either of the other backs. So with Jamaal Williams, if you're going to choose between Williams and A.J. Dillon, you can spend that 13th round pick on A.J. Dillon instead. They got him for a reason. Expect him to vulture some scores. Might not be immediate, but if you have a lot of bench spots and you're sitting there in the 13th round, maybe the 14th round, you go after A.J. Dillon. He should have some involvement in this run game, even if it's a little in the first couple of weeks, and then it picks up by the time we hit weeks 5 and 6. Next, we have Baker Mayfield sitting there at 131, down 4 spots since July. Kind of surprises me a bit because it seemed like back in June and July, a lot of people and analysts were on Baker Mayfield. He's going to have a much better season. He threw 21 picks last year and only completed 59% of his passes. So a low bar in terms of getting better, but is this going to be a complete opposite year? People are expecting him to take a giant leap forward in his progress in his career. I'm willing to wait and see on that. When it comes to the Cleveland Browns, when I'm unsure of an offense, I invest in a pick that I don't have to spend up for too much, and for me, that could be a Jarvis Landry. I'm not going after Austin Hooper, Kareem Hunt, I have one share of, but when it comes to Baker Mayfield, I'm in very much wait and see mode. Odell Beckham Jr. was hurt most of the year last year. That could have impacted things. Let's see how Baker Mayfield performs with a 100% Odell Beckham Jr. This is a very big show me year for Baker Mayfield, but if you're thinking of drafting him as your starting quarterback, you are nuts. QB2, maybe, not as your starting quarterback. You can spend a pick or so, about half a round early, according to our ADPs, and get someone like a Daniel Jones. Go after Daniel Jones. Go after Matthew Stafford, even though there is minor injury risk attached to him now. But Baker Mayfield, I'll wait and see before investing in him as my starting fantasy quarterback. Sitting there right now at 131, I will pass, and so have a lot of players, as we've seen in the ADPs, dropping 4 spots since the start of August. Final player that I've seen drop a bit, and just a little bit, and I'm a little surprised about this guy, Jack Doyle, tight end for the Colts, at 147, down over 3 spots since the beginning of August, and I really don't understand why. Phillip Rivers loves to target his tight end. Hunter Henry had very similar stats to Jack Doyle last season, except Henry played in 4 fewer games than Doyle. So Doyle should be in an excellent spot to produce. The other issue that I'm starting to hear about whispers, the fact that they signed Trey Burton, which could take away from Doyle's targets a little bit, but I'm still expecting Doyle to be very involved in this offense. You have T.Y. Hilton has trouble staying healthy. You've got rookies and Michael Pittman Jr. You've got Paris Campbell as well, who also has trouble staying healthy. So Doyle, I am fine with starting him. He's almost my bottom line when it comes to starting tight ends. I will go after Jack Doyle very late in my draft. If I'm waiting on tight end, he will be my starting tight end in a few of my leagues. But at the end of the day, was still targeted a good amount. His reception should go up with Phillip Rivers there. He'll have all the time in the world with that offensive line. And we will see just how involved Trey Burton will be. But I'm thinking that Doyle is an excellent pick, dropping just a few picks, probably because of Burton being there. But like I said, Rivers love targeting Hunter Henry, and he will love targeting Jack Doyle as well. So take advantage of that value at 147. Are you ready to win, FA Nation? That's the question I have for you. We're all in this together. We're a family. A family sticks together, wins together. That's how it is, FA Nation. ADP TV, tracking the latest trends when it comes to average draft position, will keep you guys in line and organized so you can win rings. That's what it's all about. Good luck.